Last week, the Brics summit took place in Kazan in Russia. As a European, how do you conceive the emergence of the Brics on the one hand and on others emerging markets?
Well, if you look at emerging markets, and I am really blessed to teach that that area at the university, emerging markets should be considered threefold. The first one is necessarily the geographic aspect. The second one is linked to technology. For instance, the emergence of AI, that is an emerging market, or the cryptos, that is an emerging market. And third, the last chapter of emerging markets is going to be linked to the geopolitical environment. So, for instance, if you take the war in Israel, or the tension in Israel, that's also an emerging market in a way, because it's going to generate different behavior in terms of trade and economics. If you take, for instance, the new government in France and what is happening with the potential raise of the tax level, that is actually an emerging market. And let me tell you that professionals like lawyers or tax advisors in Switzerland, France, and Belgium are actually eyeing on France, because they're going to see high net worth individuals from France relocating there, which they hadn't been seen for a good 10 years. But let's come back to the BRICS. So the BRICS, that's actually a diplomatic venture. That is a counter power to the West, mainly North America and Europe. And when you look at the BRICS, what's interesting is that they don't really have an administrative power, but they represent very strong actors in the future of world trade and economy, be it countries like China or India, that represent actually, a large part of world's population. So that's really representing a shift, a counterbalance to the Western power. And also that demonstrates that there is a shift from a world that was Atlantic-centric to Pacific-centric. So we went from a world based between New York and Paris to a world based between Dubai and San Francisco. So it's quite heterogeneous and it's not a block per se. And when you look, and if you want to do business with the BRICS, which is becoming very useful for and very popular for many investment funds or private equity firms, actually you need to do it on a bilateral way. It's not an homogeneous venture. You still have to look at the specificities of every member of the BRICS, which have extended actually, because it's not only the 5 founding members. You now have a major market like Egypt, the UAE, and other important markets willing to enter that diplomatic venture.
Thank you, Laurent.